I had been aware of Dr. Pillai, and I had been, I would see a video here and there, or, I would, duck in on Pillai Center and read a little bit about what Babaji was up to. And then one day I was on YouTube, and I saw a video that says Baba reveals his true purpose. It's about a 6.5 minute video. And when I watched that video, I was just completely mesmerized, completely entranced. And as I was watching Baba talk about how he's traveled the world and that we're entering the new age, the golden age, and that there is a different way to live, and why being hung up in so much materialism can be bad. What I started to see in a video was, wow, I really want to sit and meditate with this guru. And
Mm.
so what happened was that as we got to the end of the video, the last lines, basically the last sentences of the video, and he says, my true purpose here is to give you the wisdom to turn the body into light.
I'm here to give you the wisdom that will enable you to turn the body into light.
That fascinated me so much that I said, I've just got to, I have to join. And that related back to a particular aspect in my life, which is biblical in the Gospels, where Jesus turns his body into light on the Mount of Olives.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, here's someone who can teach me. One night, maybe 2 or 3 weeks after I signed up, I was just sound asleep in bed, and then I woke up. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, 2:30, 3 o'clock. And I wake up, and Babaji is there, and he's saying mantras over my body. Now, I was only with him, I was only awake just very brief time, but I knew it was him. And I could hear the mantras, but I couldn't, when I awoke the next morning, I couldn't remember the mantras. All I knew was that this was a very positive thing. Whatever was happening with the sound, this is what needs to happen. And that happened after I made the commitment to go to Mount Shasta. And so then I knew, I got my own little personal confirmation that yes, this was a smart move to go out and be with Babaji at Mount Shasta and get the light body initiation. So that kind of alleviated any fears or any doubt or anything like that. And then from there, it was just, okay, let's go. Let's get to Mount Shasta. So I got there, and I was completely exhausted, and I went to my room, and I laid down. I said, I'm just going to sleep, the rest of the night. It was about 8:30 at night. Couldn't sleep. So after tossing and turning for 30, 40 minutes, I decided I'm just going to go up to the resort, just walk around. Maybe I need to walk off this flight energy. So I go up to the resort, and I go in, and I walk in, and there's Babaji. So I went up, and at first I was just like, oh my God, look at Babaji's here. And then I actually talked to him, and he was great, because this was the first time that I've at least physically seen him in person. And I went up and I introduced myself, and I stammered over a bunch of words, and he said, oh, it's okay, it's fine, and he said, I'm really glad that you're here, and that it's time for you to get these teachings, and that you should be with me now. And of course I said to Baba, I said, I have never studied with you at all. I'm here for these teachings. He said, oh, that's okay. You'll be fine. We'll catch you up. We'll get you up to speed. So immediately it was just, he put me at ease, and I've read other stories either by you or Mohini that said, Baba really is, when you're around him, it's just a feel, a different presence.
Yeah.
And for me, it was just like total love and compassion. It
Yeah.
was like, it's okay, we're going to work this out, this is fine, just relax, and that was like, it was just, so each of these little things is like a step that helps you to settle in, to be able to take the teachings. As the retreat progressed, the next day we had our first teaching with Baba, and that was like 10 in the morning or noontime. And then everybody decided we'd get back together later in the afternoon. So I was still pretty exhausted, so I went back to my hotel room. And as I lay down and I was just starting to doze off, all of a sudden my third eye opened. It was like a corkscrew in the middle of my forehead, and all of a sudden this lens just opened, and I got a glimpse of this beautiful, beautiful place. And then the third eye closed, and then I was just sitting there in just complete amazement. And of course, I know that Baba is somewhere on the grounds, and I knew it was him because it was just like, here's just a little taste of what you can experience with me, and that was that was an incredible experience. And of course, when that happens, it's so awe-inspiring that you're willing to just, okay, let's just let me have the teaching, just sit very quietly and let Baba talk. There was one other intense experience I had. This was about 6 months ago, and it seems that my experiences happen deep in the night, like between 2 or 3 or 2 and 4. And I got up very early to do a 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the morning meditation, a third eye meditation. And after I had done that meditation, I went back to my bedroom and I lay down, and I was trying to go to sleep. And all of a sudden, it happened one more time that my third eye opened again, but this time it was very extended. And I was just in Jairaj. I was just in the most beautiful place you can imagine. Every color was different. Every green was a different green. Every blue, every red, every yellow. And it was so breathtaking that when I saw it, I gasped. It was just like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. And when I did, I jarred myself back to my own physical space.
Right.
But I was very grateful for it because I got a much broader glimpse of just whatever you want to call it, heaven or whatever. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It was absolutely incredible. You can't forget stuff like this. And the thing is, when you go through hard times, Baba comes to you in different ways. When you go through a hard time in your life, somehow those experiences come back and they reverberate in your memory and your mind, and that helps lift you up to stop you, from falling. It's a very powerful experience.
Yeah.
My mother became very ill at the end of August, Labor Day weekend of last year. In one day, she had a heart attack and a stroke. And it looked like she wasn't going to make it. And when you're around somebody, you sometimes you take for granted that they'll be around for a long time.
Yeah.
Then I realized in these particular times that I didn't have things squared away with my mom. But she was in such a bad state. I spent 12 days in critical care with her. So there's one day.
Okay, take your time. Thank you so much for sharing. I know that you love her so much, and this has been hard for you.
A couple days into the critical care unit, it looked like she wasn't going to make it. Of course, I have connections with you guys. So I made a couple phone calls, and Mohini got back to me, and she said, look, say Baba's Mula Mantra over her. So I said, okay. So I'm a school teacher. I missed the beginning of the school year because this happened right then, and I thought it was my part to be there. So I stayed. I'm in the critical care unit late one night. My mother's basically in a coma. She hasn't been awake all day. She's just in a coma, for want of a better word. So I sat there and I took out my mala and I said, okay, I'm going to do the Mula Mantra over her. And I did it very slowly and very sincerely. And what happened was that the miracle happens after that. As I got to the 108th mantra, all of a sudden, she opens her eyes. She looks at me. She looks at the other side of the bed. She says, who's that over there? I said, that's Babaji. Mom, that is the divine being I'm studying with. And she just looked in that direction, and it was just the most amazing thing. I myself couldn't see Babaji, but I could feel the presence. And it was on cue, Jairaj. It was on 108. I did not even have the last syllable out. Her eyes open. She looks at me. She looks to the other side of the bed and said, who's that with us? And that was a tremendous miracle. And then it was hard to, it's a true gift.
Is immense, and your faith that you bring to calling upon him is also what makes it so powerful. So other people have, we can all do this, and I think that's important for folks out there to know that when you call on him sincerely, he will come, and you're a beautiful example of that, Michael. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's the most intense things. They're very intense, and I will say that in the 12 days that I was with her, it didn't look like she was going to make it. One other thing that I did, I have a protection yantra, and I took my mother's picture and I put it on that yantra. And my mom is still with us. She's in very rough shape, but I'm thankful, and I still believe that it's Dr. Pillai. I was able to do what I had to do. I feel like everything that needed to happen between my mom and I did happen. I got the gift of time to take care of it. When it looked dire, it didn't look like this can't possibly happen. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. And what a gift to have the time you needed with her.
The gift of time. Yeah, it's a miracle that she made it through that. It's just not. It's almost not. It's almost inconceivable.
Right.
And so I'm always thankful to Babaji for this, and I'll always be at his feet, because this was a gift for me, and I'm happy that she didn't pass without me being able to do what I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy. That's more than, I'm happy that I got the gift from Babaji,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm grateful for it. I haven't been with Babaji long, but I'm very grateful, and I know I have work to do, and I'm happy to do it. And I don't think my life would be anywhere near it is right now if it wasn't for his presence. There's just without Babaji, things would be different. Not for the good.
Right.
So I'm very thankful to Babaji, and it's a tremendous experience for anybody who wants to explore it. It's real. It will bring you farther than you can ever dream, and the presence of someone of such grace and such compassion and love is a tremendous blessing. So take the plunge. All your fears it'll work itself out.